2 dead. Bomb cyclone brings heavy winds and rain to California. It has been a deadly and destructive start to the year in California, as a series of severe storms slammed the state this week, toppling trees, submerging streets and sending water cascading into homes and businesses. The latest storm hit hard on Thursday, a powerful, atmospheric river that brought with it hurricane-force winds and torrents of rain. At least 2 deaths have been reported in connection with the latest storm, including a child whose home was hit by a falling tree in Sonoma County. By Thursday morning, more than 163,500 people were without power, with little reprieve in sight. The downpour is the latest of 3 atmospheric rivers to pummel the drought-stricken state, spurred by a bomb cyclone that drew the long plumes of moisture from across the Pacific. The rain event left considerable damage in its wake as the saturated soils and inundated systems struggled to contain several consecutive deluges. Trees and infrastructure were rocked by heavy winds, while strewn debris and rock slides closed highways and roads in several areas. Gusts topped 100 miles per hour in some parts of the state as waves churned to historic heights, surging up to 60 feet in Point Reyes. Flood watches covered a staggering 90% of California's population, 35 million people, on Thursday. Authorities have reported at least 2 weather-related deaths from the latest storm. A tree that crashed onto a home overnight killed a 1-year-old baby boy, and a 19-year-old woman died when her car skidded off a partially flooded road into a utility pole on Wednesday. The new wave of destruction comes as the U.S. West Coast reels from a downpour over the New Year's Eve weekend, which gave San Francisco its second wettest day on record and caused widespread flooding and damage. Officials are still recovering bodies in submerged vehicles in Sacramento County along a highway that flooded during the weekend storms, which resulted in at least 4 deaths. California's governor, Gavin Newsom, has declared a state of emergency to allow for a quick response and to aid in cleanup. "We anticipate that this may be one of the most challenging and impactful series of storms to touch down in California in the last 5 years," said Nancy Ward, director of the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. As the rains engorged streams and swallowed piers, whipping up waves dozens of feet high along the coast, evacuations were ordered in several towns across the state. Residents near burned scars and unhoused communities that congregated along riverbanks were told to relocate as the storm threatened to unleash debris flows and flooding. Among the towns ordered to evacuate was Montecito, where 5 years ago huge boulders, mud and debris swept down mountains through the town to the shoreline, killing 23 people and destroying more than 100 homes. Elsewhere, a 45-mile (72 kilometers) stretch of the coastal Highway 1 running through Big Sur was closed on Wednesday evening in anticipation of flooding and rock falls. Farther north, a 25-mile stretch of Highway 101 was closed due to several downed trees. Drivers were urged to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary, especially with heavy snow expected in the mountains. Flooding, fallen trees and power lines left major roadways impassable in Point Arena and Gualala, 2 small Mendocino County coastal communities about 125 miles (201.17 kilometers) north of San Francisco, which have experienced blackouts since Wednesday. Waves that were forecast to top 25 feet (7.6 meters) battered the Santa Cruz County coastline south of San Francisco, crashing into homes at the mouth of Soquel Creek in the seaside city of Capitola and knocking out a section of its historic wooden pier. A wharf at the nearby Seacliff State Beach was also heavily damaged. Big River Beach, a picturesque and popular destination for tourists and locals alike about 35 miles farther north in the village of Mendocino, was almost unrecognizable with uprooted trees and debris scattered across mounds of sand awash and pools of standing water.